Hello everybody! In this video we're going to make this beautiful bow square, which is technically a rectangle, and we start by making this center section, then we go around the outside, and then when we're all done we're going to go back and actually cinch that middle portion. So here I'm using an H hook and aran weight yarn. To get started, you do create a slip knot and then simply chain 10. With that finished, we are going to skip the first 2 chains and then double crochet into the third chain from the hook, that stitch you see right there, and then you're also going to double crochet into all of the other chains, so you should end up with 8 stitches total. This will complete row 1. Once you're finished with row 1, you're going to chain 2 and turn, and then rows 2 through 8 are all the same. To create these rows, all we do is double crochet into every stitch. So we're simply going to double crochet 8 stitches starting right there at the base of our turning chain, and then at the end of each of those rows you are also going to chain 2. But when you finish your very last row, you don't need to do a turning chain, you're simply going to turn. You can make a note of it here that our turning chains do not count as stitches, so we're only counting our 8 stitches that we do in each row. And these first rows that we're doing a solid piece for, they just create the bow portion that we are going to work around in just a minute. Feel free to go ahead and pause the video while you finish these rows, since I am just speeding through the rest of these rows that repeat, and then I will show you how to get started doing the rows that go around this first part. Okay, so our bow portion is done. Now we're going to simply turn from where we were, and we're going to start working on the border to go around our solid piece here. We're going to start by chaining 5, and then we're going to start going along our first short side of our bow piece here. To do this, I want you to start by skipping 2 stitches, and we're going to work a double crochet into the stitch after that, right here. Now we're going to chain 2, skip 2 stitches and double crochet again. Now we're going to chain 2, skip 2 stitches one more time, and we're going to double crochet right into the corner. Which gives us nice evenly spaced sections on this short side. And then to work the corner, we're going to chain 4. Chain 4 right here, and then we're going to double crochet again in the same place, right into the corner here. And that completes our first short side and our first corner. Now to do the long side, you're going to start by chaining 3. And we're going to work another double crochet, but you want to specifically put it right in between the rounds, or the rows 6 and 7. So you might need to do a little counting there, but when you find the edge that's right in between rows 6 and 7 where we did our solid piece, that's where you're going to want to put your double crochet. Then we want to go ahead and chain 2 again, and now we're going to triple crochet into the edge between rows 5 and 6, so just 1 row down. Now we chain 3 again, and we're going to triple crochet into the edge between rows 3 and 4. These spacings are very intentional because we want to shape the square just a little bit so that when we cinch it in later to create our bow shape, it's going to be a nice flat looking rectangle then. So we're intentionally raising the sides just a little bit. So now that I'm back on track myself, I'm going to, like I said, put this next triple crochet into the edge here between rows 3 and 4. So we're leaving a little bit more space this time. And that's the last triple crochet that we need to do on this side. Next, you're going to chain 2 and double crochet at the edge again in between rows 2 and 3. So right here. And then you're going to want to chain 3 and double crochet into the corner. Okay, so this is what your square should look like so far. We're going to finish this round so that everything is symmetrical, and I'm going to show you all of that on the video. But to finish this corner really quick, you're going to want to chain 4 and double crochet again into the same spot, the same corner, and you're halfway done. The second short side has you chaining 2 and skipping 2 stitches a few times to create those evenly spaced sections along this short side, and you finish at the corner. And again, you're going to want to chain 4 and put another double crochet into the corner in the same spot. And the long side is simply doing everything that we did for the first long side in reverse. You can count the rows again, as the pattern describes exactly where to put your stitches, but as long as you put them opposite of the ones from the first side, you should be okay. And then when you get all the way back around to where you started, chain 4 and slip stitch into the third chain of your first beginning 5 chains to finish this round. And if you want to push the sides in a little bit, you should see where it's still going to look like a rectangle with the middle cinched in just a little bit. For now, we need to move on, and we have 2 more rounds to do that are going to be very solid instead of being lacy like this one. To get started with your first solid round, chain 2. For the short side, we're going to put half double crochet stitches into each stitch. So we're going to put 2 into each chain space, and then we're also going to put a half double crochet into the top of each stitch that we did in the round before. This will give us a really solid result. So we want to continue doing that all the way along our first short side. Then when we get to the corners, it's a little bit different. Half double crochet, 2 in the corner, and then we're going to chain and do a different stitch on the long sides. So here you'll see me half double crocheting 2 into the corner, and then we're going to chain 4 and then double crochet into the corner here on the side that is our long side. And then for the long side, we're going to fill in our round with double crochet stitches. This is to even things out just a little bit and put a little bit more height on the long sides, so it's a little bit closer to being a square, even though it's still going to be a rectangle. So we want to double crochet into the top of all the stitches from the round before. So that's the first thing I'm going to do right here. And then double crochet into the chain spaces and double crochet 1 for every chain. So in the places where there are 3 chains, put 3 double crochet stitches in. And in the places where there are only 2 chains, put only 2 double crochet stitches in. And remember to also include 1 for each of the solid stitches, just like we did in the short side. This will bring us back around to the corner, and this time in the corner chain space, put 2 double crochet stitches and then chain 4, and then work 2 half double crochet stitches. We're doing the opposite of what we did in the first corner. Go ahead and finish the other 2 sides this way, and then we slip stitch to close, and you're done with your first solid round. To start the second solid round, we're going to chain 2 again, and now we just get to work into all of the stitches that we did and do our corners. So again, for the short sides, we are going to do half double crochet stitches and then double crochet stitches along the long sides, and you work the corners the same way that you did in the last round so that they also have different stitches facing different sides and chaining 4 in the corners. Once you finish this round, the only thing left to do with our bow is to cinch the middle. All right, here we have the 2 solid rounds done, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how to cinch the middle. You start with a slip knot on your hook, and you just sort of wrap the yarn around the front of the bow and do like a big chain stitch. And then you're going to keep yarning over with the hook and then putting the hook around the front of the bow to draw more loops around. And you're going to want to do that several times. It really is up to you. But you'll want to check the front to make sure that it's looking good, that it's looking the way that you want it to, and that all of the loops are laying pretty flat. So I'm going to do that in just a second. But as you can see, I've got a lot of loops there. Let's check it, and that's the way I want it to look. So to finish it off, we're going to do one more yarn over and draw that yarn over through all the loops we have and close it with a chain stitch or even 2. I'm trying to make it nice and secure here. And then you can cut your yarn and bind it off. And once you weave in your ends, your bow will be completely done. There we go, tie it nice and tight there. All right, there's my square. All finished. And here it is with the original square. This design is wonderful for all kinds of projects, and I hope that you've enjoyed making it.